So welcome everybody to this Collective Emergence webinar with Connie and Andrew, who I'll introduce later. As usual, we will start with an invocation and then I will introduce them and then they will share something and then we will go into breakout rooms and then a plenary. So let's just take a few moments in silence just to bring in the Holy Spirit and to center ourselves. Just coming into the stillness of the moment. Bringing in the guides and the angels and the gods and the spirits to guide us in this time to the greatest good. And just feeling those angelic energies, those benevolent energies coming into being in this time. And just feel their presence in the silence. I'll invite William to open this time with a short invocation.
I'd like to add my own very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for coming together in this way at this time to help us collectively discern creative ways forward in spite of the presence of so much change and challenge in our world. May we draw upon the strength of our togetherness and upon the inspirational energy of the life that enables us all. Let us surf the wave of creation together in this time and keep our hearts open to receive the uplifting blessings of love in action.
Thank you, William. But it's our very special joy to welcome Connie and Andrew. And I'll just read a little bit about Connie and Andrew to introduce those of us that aren't so familiar with their work. Connie and Andrew are original thinkers, writers, photographers, filmmakers, futurists, climate solutionaries, and inspirational public speakers. Their explorations into the essence of reality have led to a unique articulation. Just letting someone in. Their explorations into the essence of reality have led to a unique articulation of the conscious, loving, abundant nature of the universe. In their book, The Trust Frequency, 10 Assumptions for a New Paradigm, they present a set of assumptions informed by indigenous cosmology, quantum science, and Eastern and Western mysticism, which resolve key paradoxes that they have kept humanity from walking in balance with universal law and with an open heart. They offer straightforward practical tools for accessing the trust frequency, an alternative reality where the soul's destiny awaits. The laws are expanded and there is more balance, beauty, joy, freedom, and abundance that we can fathom. And in addition to all of that, they're delightful people with lovely souls and gorgeous hearts. And that's how I know them. And we very much look forward to what they are going to share. And they are going to share on the trust frequency and the 10 assumptions And it's going to be leading to the question that we will consider in our breakout rooms. How does one raise vibration, both personally and collectively? And that's the question we'll be considering. And now I'm going to hand over to Andrew and Connie, and I'm going to need to change view and put them on speaker. And there they are. And over to Connie and Andrew.
All right, here we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What a treat, what an honor, what a delight. This beautiful sunny afternoon overlooking the English Channel, beautiful beach and little sailboats going by and lots of children. It's nice here.
Here at Bella Vista Guest
Yay.
House and Retreat Center,
In Swanage.
being beautifully hosted by Naomi and William. Oh my goodness, the food here is so beautifully prepared and presented, and just the love is just boundless. So we're just so blessed to have spent a week here with them. So shall we get off onto this adventure into the trust frequency?
Yes. I imagine some of you know about the book and you know about the trust frequency, and I imagine that some of you have never heard of it until this moment. I imagine, we probably have exactly that mix. So I'm going to start at the very beginning, which is understanding the importance of assumptions. Now, there are those who say, don't make assumptions. Assumptions make an ass out of you and me. Ass you, me. On the other hand, we all make assumptions. We have to make assumptions. And the question arises, what in God's name is an assumption? An assumption is a belief that we believe to be true without question. That's an assumption. It's something that we know to be true. Whether or not it is true is another question. We were told it was true as a little child, perhaps. These assumptions upon which we base our lives and our realities could be correct, could be accurate, could be completely erroneous, could actually be dangerous. So that's the subject of this work, to look at our fundamental assumptions, in other words, our core beliefs, and they create our worldview. So this is this workshop today, and we've got 30 minutes to present something. We could take the whole week. It is very deep. Some of it's obvious. Some of it you already know. Some of it you may be astonished. So an assumption is a belief that we take to be true without question. Okay?
And that's one of our definitions. So we're going to go through our definitions with you, because we use words that have our own meaning. We give meaning to these words so that when you read our book and when you listen to us, you know what we're speaking of. And Andrew has just addressed the first assumption, the first definition.
So you may or may not, if you went to the Oxford Dictionary and looked up these words, you probably would not see what we're about to tell you. We take these words to mean. We use terminology in a unique way. However, an assumption is in the dictionary, and it is a belief which we believe to be true without question. Now, what's a paradigm? We've all heard of a paradigm shift. We need a paradigm. We need a new paradigm. We're on the brink of a paradigm shift. But what's a paradigm? A paradigm is very simply a collection of assumptions. If you put all of the assumptions we make about the nature of life, the nature of reality, the nature of the neighborhood we live in, that entire collection of assumptions is what is called a paradigm. And paradigms vary depending on the culture you live in, the religion you belong to. If we were Congolese pygmies, we'd have a completely different paradigm from white folks sitting here in the UK. Okay.
Yes, and so those are our first two definitions.
Pretty critical to know, and the vital role that assumptions play in our reality.
Yes, and the next one is humanity, our definition of humanity. And this is very important to the whole structure of this construct on the nature of the universe we call the trust frequency, for accessing the trust frequency.
You won't find this one in the dictionary, Connie.
Yes, it's a set. We are, as humanity, we are a collection of divine, autonomous, sovereign beings who have chosen, that's key, chosen to incarnate on earth on our journey to wholeness self-love, self-acceptance, alignment with our divinity, and our purpose. Okay, that's very key to this whole construct that you're going to be hearing.
And you will not find that definition of humanity in the dictionary.
So we'll run through the next definitions, because then we want to get into the assumption.
But this is foundational, so listen carefully. Here's another definition you will not find in the dictionary. Love, the word L-O-V-E with a capital L, the fundamental, unifying, and creative force of the universe. And the universe with a capital U. So love, if you really understand it from that perspective, love is all there is. Love is everything. Love is the power of the universe.
And we'll be showing you how to resolve that love, not love paradox. If it's all love, what about all the things we see as not love? So just listen up as we proceed. And then frequency, the vibratory rate that determines the characteristic of a particular reality. There is a wide range of frequencies, each with its own reality and its own distinct laws. Okay, we're saying the laws are expanded as you go up in frequency, and thereby the laws that apply to us as an individual and as a collective change as we change our vibratory level. So then there's the trust frequency.
You do that one.
Okay.
This one is pure Connie Baxter Marlow. I want you to say this one.
Where the soul's destiny awaits, with more abundance, balance, freedom, joy than we can fathom, where the true nature of the universe is experienced. So
now here's another one. Free will. We've all heard of free will. Well, how about this? The right and the ability to choose one's frequency. We have control. We can train ourselves to adjust our frequency. If we find that we're vibrating at a low frequency, we're depressed, we're down, we're disturbed by the news, whatever it is, we can change that. A single inhalation, and we can raise our frequency into a higher place where the world looks and is a lot better.
Circumstance.
Ooh,
Seemingly,
I love Connie. This is pure Connie.
the seemingly uncontrollable outward events that influence our decisions. The seemingly uncontrollable. Because what we say is circumstance loves us more than we do, because it's divine. And we've made some decisions and orient our life in a way to be successful, to please mom and dad, etc., when in fact our soul came for a different purpose, and the universe comes up and says, sorry, but you made an overarching act of free will to go and be something else on this planet than you're trying to be. So here you go. Anyway.
If there's one thing you take away from today, just have any of us ever felt like a victim of circumstance? We're going to turn that around and say, we are all beneficiaries of circumstance. It is circumstance which guides us on our way. That's a magical idea, and it's true.
Because the universe loves us. So consciousness.
I'll do that one. So consciousness. Science has a very hard time with the concept of consciousness. Up until very recently, if you approach a scientist, someone trained in physics, chemistry, mathematics, etc., biology, they would say, you're talking to the wrong person. You need to go to the church and talk to the minister, the priest, the spiritual people, the monasteries, right? Consciousness. However, the science of consciousness is now coming into its own. It's becoming a very big deal in the world. And once we understand what consciousness is, that really literally changes everything. And this workshop is today about consciousness. I think that's pretty obvious. There are two principal kinds of consciousness. One is what we call universal consciousness. The universe is conscious. The universe is consciousness itself. That's the universe. It is a living, conscious, and indeed loving entity. In fact, it's the only entity, the only thing there is. And it is consciousness, and it is at the same time love. And then there's human consciousness. Everything we experience, I wake up in the morning, I open my eyes, And I can tell whether the sun's shining, whether it's raining, whether the cat's hungry, whether Connie's right over there in my bed, this beautiful friend of mine, this sweetheart. And wife, there's that. And yeah, so the consciousness, love has many levels, such as the love I feel for Connie. That's human consciousness. There are all of those levels, everything we experience is consciousness, is human consciousness.
Then we have the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you just go ahead.
And the final one is the universe. And if you went to the dictionary and looked up the word universe, you would not find this. All that is. The universe is all that is, both manifest and unmanifest, also known as God, Creator, Atman, and so on. We call it the conscious, loving universe. And that is the subject of today's workshop. What is the true nature of the universe? Which is the same thing as saying, what is the true nature of God? Or what is the true nature of existence? What is the true nature of Atman? Or any of the principal subjects of study of all of the major mystical traditions.
And we have a proposal from our perspective on what is the true nature of the universe. It is, in fact, a great mystery. So nobody really knows. And we just are proposing a construct within which, if one takes it as absolutely true, what we're proposing, it shifts one's vibration. And this is the nature of this, the focus of this workshop today is, okay, shifting vibration. And what does it matter? How we vibrate, where we vibrate. Okay, it's all physics. Everything is physics. It's all vibration because the laws in the different frequencies are different. So we're going to share with you ways to understand what creates your vibration and thereby your reality. Okay, so our construct is, and our assumptions, we'll start with our assumptions. The assumption one is that it's a conscious, loving universe. There is only love.
Now, that's the polar opposite of what I, as a scientifically trained Westerner, was taught all through school, through high school, through university. I'm a very well-trained Western thinker in the educational sense. And never once in all of those 7 years of my university training, for example, was it ever suggested that the universe could be conscious, that it could be loving, that it even knew I existed. Now, that's a bleak reality. It's the Newtonian reality. It's this reductionist scientific reality. And it is accurate in many regards. It's very useful if you want to get a rocket to the moon or you want to sail a ship across the ocean. It helps a lot. But as far as being a conscious entity in a universe, it's bleak. It's difficult. It's not a pleasant thing. Would I want to live in a universe that doesn't know I exist? I want to be mothered and loved and nurtured by the universe I live in, which is in fact the case. And once we know that, everything shifts.
And what that mechanistic worldview has done, it's put us on the fast track to seeing that we've been out of balance forever. Okay, it's just that we've had systems that have been out of balance, people not, of separation, of scarcity and fear for millennia upon millennia. So this mechanistic worldview, in my estimation, because everything serves the coming of peace on earth and heaven on earth, as far as I'm concerned. So this mechanistic worldview that's gotten us so much technology, et cetera, has put us on the fast track to seeing that we are not in alignment with the human heart, not in alignment with universal law. And so this is the time now that we're seeing that, and we're taking this evolutionary leap in consciousness into what we call the trust frequency.
So we have 10 assumptions. The original title of this book was The 10 Assumptions. Like there were 10 commandments. It could be 12 or 15 or 117, doesn't matter. It's just the idea of selecting 10 of our most profound fundamental beliefs and having a good, clear look at them and asking ourselves the question, do I really believe this? Who told me that? Where did I get that from? And the answer is almost always from my dad, from my culture, from the religion I grew up, etc., etc.
And the energy on the planet.
Yeah.
See, our thesis is that the planet was in a lower frequency, it was in a lower vibration. So that's the energy we had. We're separate, it's the scarce resources, so we have to fight with the other for these resources and have power and control over the other. It all totally makes sense in that paradigm. And now that we're shifting into a paradigm where we see that we are one, we shift into a paradigm where there's more abundance than we can fathom, and et cetera, when peace on earth is a given in that frequency. But let's get back to the assumptions. Now, that first assumption sets up a paradox. There is only love. How can that be? Okay, that's impossible. And people are saying that all over the place. There's only love. God, if God is love, God is everything, there's only love. But we see so much as not love. So we resolve that paradox with our second assumption, basically, that universe, that love is unconditional. It gives us everything we ask for. Okay? So you're thinking, oh, yeah, the secret. Yes, I can get anything I want. Yeah, no, it's physics, it's vibration. What are our requests to the loving universe? Okay, so we couch it in the fact, okay, it's the loving universe responding to our requests, when in fact it's pure, unadulterated physics. Where are we vibrating? And what are the conditions of that particular frequency that we're vibrating at? So we see the results of vibrating at a lower vibration, the mess we're in the world today. So our third assumption.
I'll do this one if that's
Yeah.
okay. So the third assumption, any of you remember a film called What the Bleep Do We Know? It came out in 2005, 2006, right at the same time as The Secret. And my takeaway from that is this assumption: we create reality with the power of our consciousness. Our thought, our intellectual power, that mind, that invisible power that we have, is what actually creates our individual and, taken all together, our collective reality. That's a big jump from the little tiny meaningless bits that we're presented as. We have enormous power through our consciousness. And the fourth assumption is not really an assumption, it's more an analysis of what is consciousness. Because as I said earlier, science has a very hard time with consciousness. So we thought about this and said, wait a minute, what is consciousness? Well, you go to the dictionary, it says consciousness is awareness. And you look at awareness and it says awareness is consciousness. Wonderful, circular thinking. It's true. Consciousness, the first thing that we really notice about consciousness, it is awareness. But we found 7 other attributes of consciousness, all, interestingly, beginning with the letter A. So we call them the 7 A's, or now somebody added up an 8th one, the 8 A's.
Jude Caravan, who's been on your
Oh,
collective, she said she loves the trust frequency, and
came
she
up with
said,
another A.
she said, you've got to add another A. So we've added an 8th A
And is that
to our
attunement?
7 A's. Yeah,
So
attunement.
there are those here who know what that means. So there are 7 words in the English language, or 8 words, sorry, starting with awareness, that are sort of a breakdown. They're attributes of consciousness. And I think it's helpful. We think it's helpful to understand consciousness as it applies to us. How do we experience consciousness? So, Connie,
We've put these 8 A's into a sentence. So I'm going to speak this sentence to you very slowly, and listen closely to the adjectives, the modifying word that modifies these A's. Okay, so remember, they all begin with A, and listen closely to these modifiers.
So this is consciousness.
Here we go. With expanded awareness, we choose our attitude, consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, attune to the universal energies.
And assumptions?
Did I leave out assumptions?
Yeah.
Oh, darn it. I left out assumptions.
Assumptions.
Okay, I'll start again.
Okay. Our
with-
assumptions are an attribute of our consciousness.
Well, okay, I'll start again. With expanded awareness and accurate assumptions,
There you go.
we choose our attitude, consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, attune to the universal energies, take committed action, which is the kicker, because we have to act from that place, and allow the loving universe to manifest beyond our wildest dreams. So those 8 A's you can check when you're standing in line at the grocery store. Anytime you can check your 8 A's and see what's going on in your consciousness that's determining your frequency and thereby your reality.
So those first four assumptions, really, if you can master those, it changes everything. They're exceedingly transformational. And I speak from personal experience because I actually did the physical writing of this book. When I first met this beautiful wife of mine, I had spent 40 years in all sorts of mystical studies and with Sufis and Native American sweat lodges and all of these different things, Buddhist practices, mantras, all of that stuff. And Connie had this unique articulation of the nature of reality. And I kept saying, Connie, this is wonderful. You have to write a book. You have to write a book. You have to write a book. And guess what? I'm the writer of the family. So I wrote the book. And here's the point. If you wrote the book, you'd better walk the talk. So by writing this book, The Trust Frequency, and by putting these ideas together in a coherent form that I was responsible for, I had better practice what I preach, right?
And we do. We live in the trust frequency. It's absolutely true for me.
The difference it makes.
And it is a different reality. We didn't come to work to survive. We came to give our gifts and receive more than we can fathom. Spirit said to me, stop counting. You're strangling the abundant universe. So we've made up this whole reality with our assumptions, individually and collectively, given the frequency that was on the planet. And now the planet is shifting frequencies, and now we need tools for getting us into alignment with the earth as she progresses in frequency. So we'll run through our next
learning how to live in trust. I don't think we've really said this about trust itself. Living in trust, as opposed to living in fear, is what this work is about. When we find ourselves living in trust, in a certain sense, it doesn't matter what's going on in the world, what's going on outside, because once you're truly in the trust frequency, the vibratory state where you know without a doubt that everything that is happening for you, not to you, you're not a victim, etc.
And we're going into that in more depth tomorrow.
Yeah. I want to quickly ask Naomi, how many more minutes do we have, darling?
Well, we've spoken for 22.
Say again?
2 more minutes.
2 more minutes.
No, we've spoken for 23 minutes.
No, I know, but we started late.
We started late. Anyway,
shortened.
Okay, so we'll run through this.
I want to say this. We have 6 more assumptions, and I'm simply going to read them so we get this entire body of work delivered. You can go back to the recording. You can get the book. We have online versions. There's a free ebook where you can get all of this information from our website, and on and on. But I just want to go through the remaining assumptions. 5, free will is an absolute law of the universe. We have the freedom to choose our frequency. We are masters of our own destiny. Now, that's what most people don't feel they have free will. It's powerful once you know that free will is one of the laws. 6, and we talked about this earlier. Circumstance guides us on our journey to wholeness. We are not victims of circumstance. We're beneficiaries. Circumstance guides us.
Now,
7.
So 7, there is only now This precious present moment, living trustingly in the now, we experience the true nature of the universe. And all of creation is one. This is number 8. Separation is a man-made illusion. We are the conscious, loving universe. And science is now proving that it's a holographic universe. We are the universe. Everything we see, think, feel, and do matters. We are important to all of creation because we are all of creation. Everything sees, feels, and knows what we're thinking and doing and being.
And the 9th assumption is a very optimistic one, and I really love it, and I think it's really important. Humanity is on an evolutionary upward spiral. Some people say we're going to hell in a handbasket, and we say, I don't know what a handbasket is, but whatever it is, we're not going in it. We are going in the opposite direction. Humanity is moving inexorably in the direction of a higher reality, the trust frequency. You could also call it heaven on earth. And finally,
the trust frequency is a real place of unfathomable joy, peace, and abundance that is freely available to anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Those are the 10 assumptions, my friends. Thank you. How did we do time-wise? To the microsecond?
It's good. It's good. So I'm going to try and come back into.
So one thing I just wanted.
We have to talk about the breakout rooms.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention to you that this construct came out of indigenous cosmology, the indigenous understanding of the nature of the universe, that visionary native elders came into my life when I was seeking the missing pieces of the paradigm that my world was operating in accordance with. And then quantum science has been proving what the indigenous peoples know, but they can't prove, science can't prove the heart and the spirit. And that's what this is. It's a synthesis of the two, of science and the indigenous knowing, into what we all know in our hearts to be true. So we just encourage you to open your heart and listen to your own knowing and act from that place. That's all we can say to you is trust
the loving
universe and trust your own heart, your own knowing.
Four-word summary of the whole thing: trust the loving universe. Now, breakout rooms.
Thank you.
To repeat the question, Naomi's going to put us in breakout rooms. And the question is, how do we raise our vibration or raise our frequency both individually and collectively?
And so what we ask you to ponder is, how is this, what you've learned here, affected how you see the importance of vibration and frequency and how it applies to your own lives?
Thank you so much. That's great. So how do you raise vibration personally and collectively? We'll go into the breakout rooms until 3:30.
We'll see you on the other side.
See you on the other side.